Thanks very much for joining my channel. It's nice to have you here. This is a continuation. This is the third in a series of 3 videos on how I created this dog here for a client. I've made the previous 2. If you haven't seen them, please go and have a look for them. Basically, the dog is jumping in, taking a pee, and jumping out, or in the other scene he's jumping in and wagging his tail. So this is where we are so far. We've got the line drawing all done, and in this video we're going to be coloring the dog, and then we're going to be doing all the exporting. Now it's coming out grey here because I've got a setting still stuck on this layer or this column. So let's just go and sort that out. It's a transparency check setting, so let's just go turn that off. Let's go up to view, down to transparency check, and untick that. And now when we're in that column, you'll see the actual color of this thing instead of just the black or the grayscale. So we've got 2 colors at the moment. We'll have a few more. We're going to color his tongue, etc. And we're doing this on a new column. And we also, what's different here is we are using the paint brush. We're not using the pen. So we're actually painting it. And then here we're putting a shadow in. And to get it to paint only over the parts that you've already painted, let's go to the paint brush and we go and click the lock alpha button up there. And then you see when you paint over it, it's painting just the part that has already been painted. So that's pretty cool when you're using the paintbrush. You can't do that with the pen. So all this fill, all the painting and stuff, we use paintbrush for. Here we're doing some shadow under the jaw, and as per my previous work, I use a lot of copy and paste. So even with the color layers, just copy them and paste them into the next cell, onto the next frame, and you can always go and just adjust them and fix them up. I find this speeds up your workflow a hell of a lot. So I still use copy and paste even when painting. Some people have asked me why I don't do it all in one layer, the line and the paint. Well, simply because I prefer having my color behind line work. My background when I was a kid was I was very influenced by Hergé, and I just learned that's a very neat way to do drawings if you're going to use an outline with your artwork. And I do like using a black outline, and then you can put the color behind that, and that's just the method I use. A lot of people will do the line and the color on the same drawings or the same cells or whatever. It's just, this is where I work like this, so it's slightly different. So here we are doing the collar, and at this stage it's a yellow color. Just testing out some colors here, creating colors in the palette, in the level palette. I think red's probably going to work better, so let's go drop a red in, and also adding some detail to the studs on this collar. Once again, copy and paste to the next cells as we go. So pretty basic stuff. The main thing to remember here is we're using the brush and not the pen for the filling. And let's do his tongue as well. Let's drop a pink in there, create a pink, and also maybe I was thinking of coloring one of his ears, but I scratched that. So taking the previous frame, you can just copy these down, especially when it's coming in at a straight angle like that. The first few frames, they're pretty much all the same. There's not a hell of a lot of movement in the limbs, etc. Down here where he turns his head, we actually put the color on another level, so we split it once again. So we have the color for the head on one level and the color for the body on another level. And the reason for that is because things like his tongue, etc., will go in front of his collar. So you want that level to be above the body level. Because in the line work we've also split that. So again, just copy and paste and go and fill this and clean it up. Once again, because we're using the brush, there is no erase tool. How you erase it is you just select the transparent color 0 there and you paint over the bits that you don't want. So again, that's a slight difference from using the pen. So we add some shadow to the tongue, and this is the part where he rotates his head or cocks his head. So again, lots of copy and pasting, and you can see there that the line work from behind is coming through in front of his tongue. So we're going to go and fix that up just now. We actually go to the line work here, we're looking for it, and we can go and rub that out there. And again, when you're doing this, a lot of this, you have to remember if you're in the brush tool or the pen tool, because this line work was done with the pen tool, so obviously the razor actually does work. And because of lagging muscle memory, etc., if you're switching between the two, you can make mistakes. I often find myself in the coloring starting to color with the pen, etc., and with the paint brush on, I'm trying to erase things with the razor, etc. It's just muscle memory. So try and split it up. That's what I find is the best way to do it. Do all your line work first. If you're going to work like this on separate layers, do your line work first, and then you're doing that with the pen tool and the razor. And then when you come in to do the fill, to do the color, you're using the brush, and you won't be jumping between the brush and the pen, so you won't get that muscle memory mistake thing that I do all the time. So we've done the bit here where he pees or urinates, so that's already been done in the previous part. We're just going in here and rubbing out the outlines that are sticking through on his tongue here, cleaning that up. That's all in the line layer. We did some more work to his tail after the first pass through, so we're just going to go and color in his tail here. Obviously, again, a lot of copy and paste. On this part where he's cocking his leg, it's also on a separate layer. The color is, because the actual line work is done in separate layers. So just to simplify things, it's easier just to paint his leg in a separate layer as well, just for that one movement. And then once we finish that, he's jumping out, and again a lot of copy and paste on the way out. So let's have a look at him. Play him out here. It's looking really good. I'm really happy with that. The one thing that needs adjusting is the outline. It's looking pretty grey in places. We'll get to that shortly. Here is tail. We're just adding a few frames here. We're putting a little bit more of a kink into it, and I didn't like the way it was. It was very stiff, so I'm going to adjust all that. It needs to have more of a whip move to it. So I'm just jumping in and out of the line layer and back to the color layer, and just adjusting his tail, trying to get a smoother move, if you will. And I'm doing the color as I go, which is not ideal. Like I was saying, you want to split the two. It's just more efficient, and you don't make those mistakes that I was talking about, switching between paint and pen. So let's just play them out now. Yeah, the tail's looking a bit better. Looking much better. And I've also added his tongue when he's panting. You can see his tongue, not in this bit here, but in the previous bit, his tongue actually moves in and out. So let's fix up that line. The line is very grey, so let's just fix that up, and we just do that in the level palette. We just go and find the parts, because this is now in so many layers. It's we just got to go through them all and just switch that color, where it's grey, just to black. And then also what we need to do here is just come fix up some details, like his eyes. So we just go through those layers and just repaint the black, just to make sure his eyes are solid, and all the other details like his nose, etc. Just fix up all these little details at this stage, and that's pretty much done. Now what the client wants is, they want this to come from the right as we have it, but then they also want a version to come from the left. So we need to reverse this. So the best way to do that in OpenToonz, the best way to do it is to make it into a sub X sheet. And how we do that is we go and select all these columns, right click and scroll down to collapse, and that collapses it into a sub X sheet, that purple column there. So let's just go and save that as a sub X sheet, just in case we need to go back and change something. And then if you go and click on that sub X sheet and you click that button, opens sub X sheet, you can see there it is. All the layers, all the columns are still in it. So let's close it, and then let's go and copy the sub X sheet and paste it. So it's a direct copy of it. Just label the first one right to left, R to L, and label the second one L to R. On the left to right column, just select the first frame, go up and turn the animation button on, and we want to change the scale, so just go and select scale, and to mirror it so it's coming in from the left, we'll just flip it on the horizontal scale. So we just go drop a negative in there, negative 100%, and that will flip it. And then let's just turn off the visibility of the R to L. So when we play it out now, he's coming in from the left. The final thing we need to do is to render this out, and the client in this job wants it as GIFs, GIFs, so instead of just exporting it as a MP4, we just go down to the bottom here and we select a GIF and we can export that. So we do one from the right and then a version from the left, and that's basically it. So when we drop a background on it, you can see the animation has got a transparent background, and he's coming in from the right here, doing his leg cock and then doing his tail wag, and that's it. The animation is complete. So thanks for working through these 3 videos with me. This was a lot of fun, this animation. The client loved it. So happy client, happy me. Thanks very much for taking the time to follow how I did this. I hope there were a few things in there that you could find helpful. Please go and have a look at my Animating with OpenToonz course. The links are in the description here on YouTube. And also, if you haven't subscribed to my channel already, please go ahead and do that. And please subscribe to my newsletter if you'd like to receive newsletters. And otherwise, thanks very much for joining me. I really appreciate your support. All the best and enjoy your animating out there. All the best. Bye.